Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to install Docker on your Mac. I'm using High Sierra, but first you're going to come into Docker, docs.docker.com, and this is where you're going to install it, and I'm going to put the link in the description, but just go ahead and kind of look over here. You're going to want to read over the instructions here, some of the prerequisites you're going to need in order to be able to install it successfully. It also tells you what it's going to be installing. When you install, you need at least 4 gigs of RAM, Mac OS Sierra 1012 or higher. You're gonna get the hardware that you may require in order to do that. You're gonna run the systemctl command to check it out. So just kind of read over this stuff. I think that for the most part, if you got at least a 2010 or above, then you should be good. So you go ahead and click download. And as this loads, you're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave the links. There's other ways to install it with Homebrew, but it's gonna be a little bit harder. I think for the newcomer, this is the easiest way to get started with Docker. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and press please log in to download. This is gonna prompt you to create a Docker username. If you don't have one, then you're just gonna create an account. I do have one, so I'm gonna go ahead and type this information in as soon as I can find it. Okay, so I got my information. I'm gonna go ahead and type this in and see if I can find my password here. Okay. Alright, we're logged in. I'm logged into Docker Hub right now. And you would create an account, obviously, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click Get Docker. And it's gonna go ahead and start downloading. And then once that comes back up, I'm gonna go ahead and come back to the video. So I'm gonna hit pause right now. Alright, so it's done downloading. Go ahead and click this, and it's gonna open up the Docker DMG, and it's gonna go ahead and verify it. Alright, so then you're just gonna drag the Docker over to applications, and it's going to go ahead and install it move it into your applications folder. So eventually it'll end up in your applications folder after it does that process and does this right here. It'll end up in your applications. Alright, so Docker is now in your application. You're going to go ahead and open it. And it's going to go ahead and do its thing. And then you may get an error that says, some type of error, and it'll ask you if it wants to reset to default. And so you'll do that, and then restart Docker, and it'll work just fine. But right now it's going to go ahead and verify Docker. I think eventually it'll ask me to log in, but when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and get back to the video. Actually, I already did it, so go ahead and click open. Alright. And I don't know why that didn't open, but let me see if I can. And actually, this right here, this image, while that loads, but this image right here, if you right click it and believe it's unmount, you can go ahead and unmount it, and it'll get rid of that logo. Actually, let me double check. You don't need to keep that there. And then it's gonna ask you for Docker needs privileged access, so we're gonna go ahead and type OK. Type the username and password, and that should have taken the first time. Okay, but and now it's gonna ask you to type in your Docker information, which you use to create that account. That way, when you have to create images, push and pull images, you can push to your repository, and you don't have to log in. This will log you in. This will already keep you logged in. So you gonna go ahead and enter your credentials, your username, password, and it'll be good to go from then on. Um, and it looks like it's still waiting to start. And so as I'm waiting to start, I'm gonna go ahead and type in my information here. And while that starts up, I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause for a little bit here on the video, and we'll come back when Docker's up and running. Alright, so Docker is running. As you can see, it says Docker desktop is running, so it's good to go. I want to just walk you through a little bit here on Docker Hub. So it's hub.docker.com. But let's say you're looking for an Ubuntu image or an Alpine or whatever image you're looking for. You would type in Ubuntu. And here you've got all the different ones. There's different people that create these, so you've got to be careful what you use as well. But what I would do is I would click official images, and you can see that the ones that are official are listed here. And there's not very many, there's 4, but if you click on this top one, it's the one that's Docker, basically the one that's mostly downloaded. So in order to pull these images, you would do docker pull Ubuntu, and then you would specify the tag that you want to pull. So 1804, 1810, 1904, 1910, 1604. And we're gonna get on the command line. I can show you. I'm gonna show you how that works. I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger. But so what you would do is docker pull Ubuntu. See, and then the tag goes afterwards, after this colon. So if you wanted 1804.04, and then you would hit enter, and it would start downloading that image. And like, if you already have the image, then it would say status is up to date. You already have the image, and you don't need to. I'm gonna clear this. You don't need to re-download it. It won't re-download it if nothing's changed in that image. So to find out if you already have that image, you do docker image ls, and then here we can see that I've already pulled a couple of them. I've got Ubuntu 1604, and I've got Ubuntu 1804. Okay, so those are the 2 images I'm already working with. And then you can go read through the documentation to it'll tell you how to run it, how to basically essentially how to run it, and other instructions you may want to read. These are the different tags that exist for that for this Ubuntu image. Again, it's this right here, and it goes, when you pull it, the tag, it's the name of the image, and then the tag after the colon. You have to specify it like that. Otherwise, if you don't do this, it'll just pull the latest. Alright, so go ahead and clear that. So now we have 2 images available, Docker image ls, available for us to use right now. And so the way we're gonna run this image is, after it starts running, it's called a container. And so what we do is, with this, I'm gonna make this screen a little bit bigger. So now what we do is, and again, so you don't have to pull an Ubuntu image. You can pull any other. I think they've got CentOS. So here's the official CentOS image. I know it's official because it only has CentOS. It doesn't have like somebody else's name and then CentOS. If you see, these are unofficial because it's got like, actually these are made by CentOS as well. But if it's got somebody's name, for example, like this JDF, so it's JDF CentOS, blah blah blah. That's an individual or maybe a company that makes it, but it's not really official. by Docker. So just click here and you'll see the official ones. So if you want to pull this one, you would click the actual image, and then so you would do Docker pull CentOS and then colon, and then specify whatever tag you wanted here. I know like right here it says CentOS 6.6 and then 6.6, so whichever one of these you want to pick will work. So if you just do latest, we'll just go with latest, and it'll start pulling that image because we never had that image. So I'll close this because we don't need that right now. So now if I do Docker image ls, smaller because it's just too big, I think. We have 3 now: Ubuntu 16.04, 18.04, and then CentOS latest version. So now to run these containers, how do we run these containers? We have these images. Let's run these containers. So first, let's see where we're at. pwd shows print working directory, and we're in users RPI. And then here I'm going to ls because I want to tie this directory or this folder to my container, so that even if my container dies or shuts down, the information that's inside my container that I was writing into that container, depending on what directory I want to use, remains in my computer, so I can spin up another container and use that same information. So to run the container, docker run dash I I'm gonna do -d -v, and I'm going to use this path. Remember we did pwd. I'm going to use this path. I'm going to specify the full path, users RPI / and I want to use the Ubuntu directory. Okay, and then I'm going to tie that into this. So this is the path to our computer. Okay, the folder that I want to use, and I'm going to use now right here. I'm going to specify the path to the container, and I just want to use /home, and depending on the container, you want to put it in a specific spot. But if you're just testing around, you want to learn Linux, anyone is fine. We'll go in there and look at the different directories available within the container, but I'm just going to put it in /home. And then I'm going to do, let's see what else, docker run -d -v, and I'm going to execute a command or a no, this is all I need. And then actually, so what did I need to specify container, sorry. I mean an image. So I need to specify this right here, or this right here, or this right here, whichever one you want to do. Or you can just put this image ID. So I'm going to go with this image ID. Copy that, and you don't need to copy the full line. You can just copy a few of those, and it works just fine. And just so you can see, I'll do that. So now that prints out it's a SHA 256, I believe, but it's not important for now. So now I'm going to do docker ps, and that shows this container as running. So now I'm going to go into this container. Okay, it's running right now. If I do docker ps, just tells me what's running currently. And so to get inside this container, I do docker exec -it for an interactive terminal. It's going to give you a terminal kind of like what this looks like on our Mac, CLI, command line interface. And I'm gonna give it the name of the ID of the container, which is this right here. Just I'll do the whole thing this time so you can see. And then the command I want to execute once into the container is bin bash. And what this is just the shell, the path to the shell, which the shell is just the command line, which is this right here, what you're looking at, kind of pretty much what you're looking at right now. So boom, enter, and now I'm in the container. See, this changed. This is my computer name, and this is the container name. We're in there as root. Root has got all kinds of privileges. So in here, once we're in here, we can start executing Linux commands. We ls, and this is the home directory that I tied my directory to. But you can tie it to any one of these, depending on what usage you want for the container. You can actually make a directory. You don't have to use one of these. You can specify, like if you wanted to tie it into, I tied it into this right here, users RPI/Ubuntu, and then /home. But if you wanted to do it to another directory, like /data, if you wanted to do that, what it would do is it would create another directory inside of here named data. So that's just another option. But I'm going to go cd into our home directory. And I'm going to ls. And see, there's already a couple files in there, because they exist in my Mac. So if I do cat, which it's going to just show what's inside that document, tough, and I just tab. I just start, I actually, what I do is I start typing in just a few of the letters of whatever I want, and then I do tab, and it'll finish it out. And so it says, I am learning Docker because it's fun. That's what that file says inside there. So if I exit out of here and I cd into my Ubuntu directory, which is the directory I tied my container to, I see those two files, pretty and tough. And if I cat that tough, it says I'm learning Docker because it's fun. And you can see that I'm inside my computer, my Mac. Now I'm gonna remove this tough document. Okay, to do that, you do rm tough.txt, and then you ls to show what's in that directory again, and you see that the tough.txt is gone. Now the only one that exists in here is pretty.txt. So now I'm going to go back into my container, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to press the up arrow to go back into that same container, docker exec-it, and then the command. So you're back in that container, and then we're going to ls. Remember, we got a cd into home. And now we're in home, we're going to ls. And the only file that's there now is pretty.txt. The other file, tough.txt, is gone. And here, you can't really use an editor. You can't really, so I can't go into this file and try to type anything in there. I would have to, I think I could do apt-get update, and then I would be able to start downloading packages. So I'd be apt-get install nano, let's say. So now I have nano, which nano lets me write into this text file. So I could do nano pretty pre. I can tab it, and now I'm inside this text editor, and I can start writing things in here. So this file is really pretty. Yes, I got a beautiful, pretty file. So Control X, it's right here. Control X is gonna exit, but it's gonna prompt you to save it. So you're gonna press the Y, file name, pretty.txt. If you wanted to change the file name, you can change it here. And actually, I will, because so you can see that the changes. I'm gonna just make it .trt, whatever, anything, and enter. Save file under a different name. Yes. So now ls it, and actually made a different file. You see pretty.trt and then pretty.txt. So now I'm gonna exit out of here, and I'm gonna ls in that Ubuntu directory, and see now I've got a pretty.trt and a pretty.txt, and that's how you can access right inside the container. Um, and even if the container dies, your data is still safe in here in these files. So let's go back into the container again, because a container is very, very basic. It has almost nothing in it, no programs. It's not a complete OS. So in order to run some of the commands that you're going to want to use for Linux, you're going to need to install some stuff. So for example, Nano, I just installed Nano. So you're going to have to Google, how to install, for example, Vim is a text editor, VIM. How to install, NetUtils or different packages that you might be researching. So you're going to have to go and Google that up. But, you would do apt-get and then whatever install, and then whatever package you want. I think utils is one of them. That's a package. So let's say ping Google. Yeah, so see, this command isn't found normally in a normal operating system. You would find that command no problem, but because it's a container, Docker container has almost nothing in it, so you'd have to go and download like a lot of the packages that you need for it. But this is an easy way to get started with Linux, and I hope you guys have learned something. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment, and I will try to see if I can follow up. All right, guys, have a good one. Hope you learned something.